Hello everyone and welcome to HCTV Sports as we get set for a matchup here between the Hastings Raiders and the Gentry Warriors here from McNamara Stadium. I'm Owen Ely here with my broadcast partner for the night, Reagan Hooverman. Reagan, how's it going, buddy?
It's great to be back. It's been a while since we've been here, especially at the football field. So I'm excited to be back. The weather is absolutely beautiful. We're in the press box. You know, they can't see us, but we're in the press box. But it's a beautiful afternoon, and I think we have an exciting game ahead of us.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful day for a home opener, for a season opener. And like I was telling you in the pregame, we only get like 4 of these days a year, and it is just wonderful to be out here. Absolutely no complaints from me.
I totally agree. Decent amount of fans here. I'd say it's nice to see the fans, obviously masks, social distancing, but it's nice to see people in the stands, especially like you said on a day like this. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, it should be awesome. We got 2 lacrosse experts here, and you know, I'm excited for this one. There's nothing quite like the home opener, and you know, it'll be very interesting to see where both of these teams are, because a lot of times you could have good teams that maybe take a little while to get rolling, and sometimes you have teams that really never get started in the season. So it'll be interesting to see who put in the hours in training and who has the chemistry, and you know, who gets off to a hot start here in the first half.
Totally agree, and I think that goes for not only just lacrosse, but also all high school sports, is you got to get out of the gates early. You got to find a way to win games early. Even if you just try and stay at around 500, you can't get in a hole. That's the problem we see, especially with basketball and football. You lose a couple games early in the season, your season's over. So, you know, if either team, they got to come out, find a way to get going early. Like you said, season opener for both squads, and find a way to score some points and try and get a W.
100%. It's going to come down today, like every other game, but specifically this home opener. It's going to come down to fundamentals. You know, who's completing the passes, who is really getting the stick down low and scooping up the ball and not just raking. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see here, as it looks like we'll take a short break here for the national anthem. And so a beautiful rendition there of the national anthem, and Reagan, the excitement here from McNamara Stadium is just absolutely palpable.
No question about it. Fans are ready to get going. These players have waited a long time to get back out on the field. I'd even throw the officials in this group. They've probably been waiting a while to get back out on the field. So I think everyone's excited, and let's get this underway, I think, as we're going through starting lineups here.
Absolutely. Reagan, I have a prediction that I'm going to need you to – you got a pen over there. I need you to write this down.
I don't have a pen.
I think – well, then remember it then. I think we're in for a good one here tonight.
Are you gonna give us a treat and give us a final score and a victor, or what are we? Or are you just saying going to be a good game all the way through?
I'll give you a specific prediction right now. I think the score is going to be 14-11, and I think the Warriors are going to win. Just kidding. It's obviously the Hastings Raiders are going to win their home opener, their season opener, and cap off, you know, a miraculous season. I'm just feeling it. You know, 2021 is such a good rebound year for everybody, and I think they're going to get off on the right foot here. You know, and it'll be very interesting when you talk about fundamentals and the like, to see how well conditioned these players are, specifically the midfielders who are going to be doing a lot of the running here tonight. You know, as arguably the greatest midfielder in the history of JV Park lacrosse history, you know, I understand the importance of midfielders and being well conditioned. So I'll be curious to see how that works. And
just a one-man wrecking crew out there for the JV squad, or
just
what?
a one-man army. Just a one. Don't look at any of my tape though.
Don't look at the tape.
Hopefully none of my teammates are listening.
Tapes for nerds.
Yeah, there we go. For Jim Sturms.
Yeah, for Sturmies.
Yeah, for Sturmiitis.
But Sturmiitis.
No, it should be interesting. And it's I know some teams like to play man-to-man defense. Some teams like to play zone. So it'll be interesting to see, if any of these teams decide to use a zone defense, because that's really something that comes with time, knowing your assignment and knowing, hey, this player is kind of in my zone, kind of on the border of your zone. Do we both go? Like sometimes both players will both not go because I think the other teammate is gonna get it. So that's kind of something that comes with time. And obviously, I presume they've been practicing for a little bit, but you can never practice enough. And we'll see how that works out defensively for both teams.
Right, and I feel like I played soccer for a couple years, and I totally agree with the point you just made. Is it takes a while to build that chemistry, and especially in in basketball, you have your man. Occasionally you play zone, but for the most part you see man defense. Same with football, you see man defense in high school sports. In soccer and lacrosse and even hockey, you get sports like this where it's essentially a moving defensive unit. There has to be communication, and it's not as simple and straightforward as some of those other sports. So building that, I guess, those relationships with your teammates to try and communicate better is something that can take a few games. So, in the season opener here for both squads, it could be a little rough, but it is what it is.
And looking up and down the Raiders roster, it is a very senior-laden roster, so you got to expect that experience is really going to play in their favor here, especially in game number 1.
Yeah, traditionally in high school sports, if you've got seniors, you look out, especially in other sports like basketball, you see 5 seniors in the starting lineup, it's going to be a pretty good team for the most part. So definitely having that experience advantage for Hastings is going to play a factor this evening, no question in my mind.
And I'll be interested to see how smooth the game plays. If it's early on in the year, are we playing herd ball? Are people just watching? Are people craning their necks and expecting other people to get in there? There's a lot of questions, Reagan Hooverman, that I think will be answered over the course of the next 50 minutes.
I'm a little surprised at how long this has taken to get it going. I won't lie about it. I feel like we should be up and running here, but...
Oh, you got places to be?
Not really.
There's no place I'd rather be than calling lacrosse here at Hastings.
On a night like this, I completely agree. This is... I really wish the viewers could be here to experience it. This is beautiful.
And obviously a special shout-out to the viewers watching this one.
As we get a shot of the...
I'm not quite sure what that is.
Turn lane?
Future construction sign?
That actually is kind of a nice intersection. I do like the drive into Hastings. You come across the bridge, you go through town, you hook a right at the stoplight, and there's this beautiful field sitting right here. It's
a historic city. There's a lot of rich culture in this city. It really reminds me of River Falls, Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Some of the houses, just the overall vibe. I'm a vibe type of guy, Reagan.
Same vibe?
Same vibe.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. What is Hastings' population? I have no idea. I genuinely don't know.
I think the sign on the way in here said 22,000.
Okay, what is River Falls, like 18? Something like that?
They say it's 15, but I don't know with the fluctuation of college students what it actually is. Probably 20,000.
Yeah, I bet in the fall it's probably closer to 23,000, and in the summer it might be 16 or 17.
Well, both teams taking the field here, as we're just seconds away from getting this 2021 season underway. Warriors and the Raiders here from McNamara Stadium. Both players getting positioned here for the face-off. And with that, we are underway here from McNamara Stadium as the Warriors with the early possession. Cut to the inside, a centering pass fielded not so clean there by Berg, scooped up by a Raiders midfielder. Working their way to the far side, a errant pass going past Casey Borndale. And we'll get an early stoppage here.
Looks like we got I believe, inadvertent stick to the head there.
Well, those are the absolute worst, as it looks like we'll have a player getting sent over to the box.
So early advantage for the Warriors here. Got to try and take advantage of this.
One-man advantage, 22 seconds into the game. Quick pass forward for Rosga.
Couple nice passes.
And an early goal here for the Warriors. That didn't take long. 29 seconds into this one. And they're going to get the scoring started here in game number 1.
Yeah, they get it started out near the 45-yard line immediately after the penalty. A centering pass out near midfield. Then one pass closer a bit to the defensive side of the field for the Raiders. And a pretty straightforward goal on the left side of the net.
And another thing that's going to be a big issue here for Hastings over the next maybe 10 or 15 minutes is you look at those shadows, and they are very long in the direction of the Raiders. So connecting on some of these passes might be a little tricky here in the next few minutes.
Totally agree. Looking straight into the sun, going to be a little difficult there for the Raiders.
Face-off number 2 here. Once again, it's going to be taken here by the Warriors. Putting on the wheels on the far side, a long pass. Halted there off of the stick of Claren. Now Claren defending. Tenlund, a pass behind the net. Goaltender watching on. And goal number 2 here for the Warriors as they're stacking up the early lead. Another point-blank goal here for Gentry.
Another beautiful pass down the far side. Kind of swung around behind the net there, and just a centering pass. And then once again, that lower left side of the net. That's 2 goals in the last, 90 seconds of game time? Not even. like 51 seconds of game time. So an absolutely electric start here for the Warriors.
Well, obviously plenty of time left in this one. It'll be interesting to see how Hastings responds.
I think you got to kind of play damage control here. I know you're only down 2, but you can't let this lead balloon to something like 3 or 5.
Third consecutive face-off won here by the Warriors, once again weaving their way through the defense, almost breaking an ankle right in front of the crease. And a little bounce goal for goal number 3 here in 61 seconds. That one going past Alexis Carl.
In this offense, you'd think they were in postseason form based on what we've seen so far. We were talking in the pregame about, maybe they come out rusty, first game of the year. They'd have come out firing on absolutely all cylinders, and they're up 3-0 here 61 seconds into this game.
And another face-off won here by the Warriors. That's Jalen Rosga with the face-off win. Another pass connecting there for Tenlund. A long pass as Carl comes out. Nearly out of the crease. Short pass does not connect with Anderson. Scoops it up, makes a beeline to the net, declines to pass. And another goal here for the Warriors. A little bit of a off-speed goal there.
Like I was saying, I think after the second goal is you got to play damage control here. I don't know what it's going to take if you got to, kind of fall back on defense a little more or get some substitutions going, or what it's going to take. But a 4-0 start in favor of the Warriors, not exactly ideal for the hometown Hastings Raiders.
Yeah, at this pace, the score is not going to be very good. Something's going to have to change here for Hastings. We'll see what the adjustment is, and we'll see if it can start here with a face-off win. And we'll redo the face-off. That one a little bit better, almost won by the Raiders. Back at it again here. And the possession is just going to be given here to Henry Sibley Gentry. Once again, they're connecting on some passes, switching to the offhand. And a pass just staying in bounds. In the corner, working their way along that baseline, and we'll get a whistle there from the far side referee.
Looked like he was counting players. So maybe it looked like he was directing a Raiders player to move further up the field, closer to midfield. So I don't know if there was potentially a spacing issue there for players or what.
Well, either way, possession staying here with the Warriors. Centering pass. Berg swinging it over. A couple of passes here. Great spacing here on the offense around the net. Warriors threatening once again. They'll lose that one. A recovery here for Hastings. Fast break up the field. A lot of space given here for Borndale. Borndale right up the gut, cutting to the outside. Hit from behind, and we got a yard sale.
My goodness.
And not only do we have a yard sale, looks like we have a player down here for the Raiders.
Can't quite see from here what she's grabbing. We'll get the trainer to jog out there and tend to the player as everyone else will take a knee. Kind of the first real offensive opportunity there in the last, 10 game seconds or so for the Raiders, basically going coast to coast there with a first chance to score. And we saw some laundry hit the field, and now we'll take some time here as we've got a player down.
Yeah, certainly was looking like a promising possession there for the Raiders, trying to cut into this pretty substantial early deficit. And you hate to see something like that, and things can get real messy. There were 3 Warriors players around that attack player.
It kind of just was a weird collision. Like he said, a couple players just kind of collapsed on the attacking Raider,
and unfortunately, that's one of the differences between boys lacrosse and girls lacrosse, is that there is no contact in girls lacrosse. Obviously, it does happen, and we saw it there. Right. But one of the things that I think is an advantage for boys lacrosse is you're expecting to get hit, so you can brace. A lot of the times, it's the ones that you don't see coming, and I think that's an unfortunate side of girls lacrosse.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't considered this in this situation, but you're totally right. You're not expecting to get hit. Obviously, it's different rules for boys and girls lacrosse, and even in you go to hockey, you go to football, it's like you said, it's the hits that you're not expecting. It's the blindside hits, the ones that you can't see that can be, unfortunately, the most dangerous. And obviously we hope nothing but the best for the downed player.
Yeah, because collisions are inevitable, unfortunately, when people are going full speed.
Right.
Things happen there. It looks like they might be tending to that left knee. And it was tough to see. It was kind of a blur of action as it happened. I thought maybe she got hit up in the shoulder area. There were a lot of sticks flying. Yep. Obviously the yard sale. So
I saw when she went down. It looked like she grabbed her leg, but I didn't want to speculate. Just start making stuff up. But I thought I saw that, and now it looks like you said, it looks like they're doing tests on that left leg. You gotta just hope for the best. I mean, there's only so much you can say in a situation like this.
And obviously there could be a multitude of factors, and I'm just throwing stuff out there. But it is early in the season. A lot of times, you're not used to that game speed. Stuff happens. People misgauge where they go. Maybe you're not as loose as you would be later in the season. We see it in the NFL every year. Where there's X amount of injuries that happen. Early in training camp, just because you're not used to going at that speed.
And based on the experience that I've seen, so in basketball I saw it happen a couple times, in football I saw it happen a couple times. Typically, when they're testing a knee, they're doing ACL tests, to see if all of that is still intact, if your strength and all of that stuff. Well, it's good to see her up.
And she'll be helped heavily off the field. Both teams going over to their respective sidelines.
Looks like she is putting a slight amount of pressure on that left leg.
Yeah, just an unfortunate tumble, and I haven't stepped on that field, so I'm not sure the conditions of that field, but it is early in the year and it is turf as well, which certain people like turf, but there's certainly a strong contingency of people who are very opposed to turf. Obviously, in Minnesota, you're not going to have perfect sod year round, obviously. So, it does look like a very well tended field, but sometimes things just happen.
So it looks like we'll get the Warriors back out on the field first, and the Raiders will come out of their huddle, go back to their positions, and get set up to resume play.
So, Reagan, it's hard to believe that, we're only 3 minutes into this game, technically. A lot has transpired here in the early goings.
Yeah, it's been kind of a weird opening couple minutes to a game. You get a team that comes out red hot in the Warriors. They start out 4-0. Then you get a really unfortunate injury as soon as we saw Hastings finally start to turn it around and get on the attack. And now you kind of lose that momentum that you had built on that possession. And now you kind of got to start over and overcome adversity again. Got to take advantage of this position, though.
So we'll return to action. The early shot and the save there by Ava Davis. First one of the night here for the Warriors goaltender. And it's going to be the Warriors working their way down the near side field. A couple of quick passes. Now at the 20. Looking to crash the net just outside of the crease. And goal number 5 here for the Warriors. Teamwork making the dream work there with the assist.
Their passing has been absolutely exceptional tonight. You can say what you want about the defense, but there's no question in my mind they are functioning as a well-oiled machine. The passes have been perfect. Very few have been off target. I think only one pass has went over a Warrior head. They've been excellent tonight, and it is reflected on the scoreboard in a 5-0 advantage here with 21:36 to go in the first half.
And I don't know if you've been keeping some stats, but I believe that's a hat trick for Ava Anderson. I have not been keeping it very closely. I think I might have missed the first one, but definitely at least 2.
Even if it wasn't the third, there's a good chance with so much time left she could complete that.
Tenlin's pass is going to be bobbled. Fought for there by a Raider. Now Tenlin spinning around, tentative, looking to pass to Berg. Now they're working their way to the far side. A lot of space was given. They'll lose the ball, and it's going to be scooped up. Play is going to continue. I think there was some confusion there, but Clarin.
I think that was an inadvertent whistle.
The phantom whistle.
Yeah, that's right.
Like some of those phantom sounds at the Metrodome.
Yeah, along with the phantom fans.
That's
Target Center. That's Target Center. That's my bad. Word to A-Rod.
Yeah. Well, now all of that work done by the Raiders to get the ball down the field negated here. It's Anderson, the lethal scorer. Spins around. Declined to cut to the net. There probably was an opening for her.
Offense is just so methodical for this Warriors team.
And look at how perfectly spaced they are. Just everybody's right on the outside of that extended circle.
And now they collapse.
Now they're coming in. And we'll have another goal here for the Warriors. Tough to see on that one, but Carl has just not had the best night with players crashing in and getting point-blank shots.
You never want to see a goaltender give up 6 in the first 5 minutes, but here's the thing. That offense is, I'll keep saying it, that offense has been so good, like you said, perfectly positioned, perfectly spaced. As soon as one player starts to attack, the defense collapses, the other attackers collapse as well, and they get easy shots on the goal. And you just can't put it all on the back of your goaltender and say, I need you to stop 8 easy opportunities in the first 6 minutes. It's just not fair to the goaltender.
And so I think that's going to be the first goal for Brooke Tenlin. And it also should be noted that Carl is a freshman. So a lot of times there are these learning experiences that will make you a better. We see it in hockey all the time with a lot of really talented players who are maybe too talented to be on, a lower team, but come up and, sometimes that's a thing. So a learning experience, welcome to the big show.
That's right. Welcome to the big show. Welcome to the big leagues. We've got 20 minutes, 19 seconds to go here in this first half. 6-0 lead for the. Look at that. We get a shot of us. Look at that. Yeah. Appreciate that. You can get a shot of the press box. That's insider baseball right there.
Exactly. Watching two professionals go to work.
Something like that.
Well, really, I think the adjustments for Hastings, I think first it's going to start with winning a face-off.
Right.
I think
totally
to get
agree.
possession right away is going to be advantageous. I think maybe not to push it. We haven't seen them pass a lot. They have done a lot of isolation, working down the field, which is good for moving the ball down low. But I think just taking your time. I mean, there's no 7-point play. You're not gonna be leading this game by the 19th minute. It's gonna have to be slow and methodical. And you just need to see some positive things. You just need to see some good scoring opportunities. Only one shot on net. We just need to see some shots on net. Maybe the first goal of the season, and kind of see where that goes from there. And then defensively. I think you need to pressure these players a lot more. They're very content with just sitting around and passing around the edge.
Got to be aggressive. I totally agree. I mean, I agree with everything you said. I mean, you got to win a face-off. It starts there. You got to limit the Warriors' opportunities on offense. And like you said, it's too much isolation. We've seen too much coast-to-coast so far for the Raiders. You got to pass the ball around, be more methodical, take a page out of the Warriors' playbook because they've done it to perfection tonight, and it's one of the reasons they're up 6-0 here in the first 5 minutes. And then on defense, I'd tell my players, give your goalie a chance. You got to get out, put pressure on them, try and make them make a mistake. You can't. They're gonna pick you apart if you let them pass around that circle for 60, 80 seconds until they get a clean shot on the goal. You got to play aggressive.
Yeah, obviously there's no cross-checking, there's no hitting, but you can impede.
You can get in their face, right.
We can't have uncontested driving into that.
Totally agree.
The final crease.
Pick a pass off,
So we'll have a face-off, one here by the Warriors. A lot of space given here to Tenlin. Connecting on a pass over on the near side for Anderson. Down low, past the goal line extended. Now back behind the net. Carl watching on. Pass nearly intercepted by Carl. Warriors were crowding the crease there for a moment. Now near the GLE, passing it down low once again.
See, I think this is what we're talking about. The situation like this, you get it. Put the pressure on them.
And from the 10 to the 20, there's a lot of motion from these midfielders and attack for the Warriors. Centering pass. And another goal as they caught Carl off balance there.
Warrior goal, number 35, Bella Muntz.
And that's going to be the first goal of the game for Bella Muntz, the freshman attack.
Got to find a way to get settled down here and win a face-off. Start there.
And you got to give credit to Razga. I mean, just an elite face-off specialist.
Right.
And I do find it interesting. I don't know if this was a rule change or if it's different for girls lacrosse as opposed to boys lacrosse, but typically the face-off would be on the ground. You wouldn't have it with the player's sticks up in the air. So you'd have both players on the ground, and then
I see.
Both would fight at an even position.
Interesting.
Now the Raiders maybe looking to mount an attack here.
Right.
We have a player here looking to pass. Gerlach. Just past the 20. That one a little too hot there for Maggie Veith. Keeps it inbound, but can't quite hold on to it. Finally gets possession. Now works her way in. Beat her defender. And loses the ball. That's why you got to cradle it. Now we have the Warriors in space. Full speed here for Ava Anderson. Looking for goal number 4. And that's exactly what she's going to find there. Getting that one down low on Alexis Carl.
My goodness, she's been fantastic.
So just an A-plus start here for the Warriors. And I don't have to explain this to lacrosse experts like you, Reagan, but that's the importance of curling your stick. So when you hold the stick, the ball will fall out a lot, so you always curl it so that there's perpetual motion to keep the ball inside the head, inside the pocket. And if you don't do that, if somebody is tapping your stick, it easily could fall out, and that's why the Raiders lost possession in the offensive zone there.
This is why we pay you the big bucks. I mean,
make them a little
like
bigger,
that,
huh?
I mean, something like that.
Make it a couple of Ben Franklins.
Please do. Please do. I'll take a couple of Lincolns.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. The vehicles.
Yeah. Word to McConaughey.
Well, that's why I'm here, Reagan, to explain lacrosse, to use my JV knowledge and explain lacrosse to the masses, as we'll have yet another goal here for the Warriors, this time coming from Ava Anderson. And that is going to be 5 for Anderson by my count, which obviously is not official.
Number 6, Ava Anderson, with the assist going to number
Just an
2,
absolute
Jayla
brilliant performance there from that sophomore. And interesting that they list her as a midfielder and a defender, but really showing all the
does it
skills
all.
of the finest attack.
That is a 5-tool player.
Absolutely. You know, she's a real Reagan Hooverman. You know, Reagan Hooverman is a 5-tool radio guy.
Versatile. 100%.
So I think it's fitting to use that saying. I'm going to make that a thing now. Now, if they were a 1-tool player, they would be the D3 rules expert.
I was
Jim Stern.
I was gonna go with Jim Stern too.
And yet another quick goal here for the Warriors. This is getting out of hand. Rozga with her 3rd goal.
Oh no. I think we've got a patron packing up his chair.
Well, you hate to see it.
scoring.
And I'm not being any type of way about this. I do not understand the all the rules of high school lacrosse, but I don't know if they have a mercy rule or
It's actually a
if
good
they have running time.
That's a good question.
Obviously, there's plenty of time for the Raiders to get back into this one, but you know we do see it in other high school sports.
Notably, baseball will cut innings. Basketball will go to running time.
Although I don't know if the Raiders saw running time in either way for their basketball team. I mean, every single game they were in was a very close game.
True. I was on the call for a lot of those games, and a lot of good players on that team.
Covering a Hastings game for a different place, it was kind of like Michael Jordan wearing that 45.
That's right.
Seeing Reagan Hooverman in the 45.
Yeah,
Doing it for that place a little to the west.
That's right. I think it was more of the Wizards.
Oh no! Oh
I
no!
think my wheels were off.
Oh gosh.
No, I'm not that far past my prime.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might have to send you out to the pasture.
We are on the back nine of my career though, and I'm 22. So
Yeah. Well, really packed it in there. And a long pass there. Got a Raiders player posted up there. Little contact to the head.
looks like
Samantha Hahn.
no whistle.
And now the Warriors just going to stay patient here in that offensive formation that they have loved here in the early going, and just some real clean passing here. Nobody dropping the ball. You can tell they really practiced this exact situation. Just trying to find one opening. We'll have a backdoor cut over to the near side. They'll go the other way, and we'll have another goal here for the Warriors, this time from Bella Muntz, her 2nd goal of the game. Now an 11-0 lead here, 10 minutes into this one, and
Scoring for the Warriors.
Home crowd's,
5,
rightfully so, a little quiet so far.
Going to number 7, Brooke Turnley.
and I don't know if the away crowd. I think
I
the
was-
away crowd must be here as well.
I was wondering about that as well, because I know during football season they had the opposing section at least opened up for a few traveling fans, and currently it looks like it's blocked off, or, well, obviously there's no one over there either.
I don't know a whole lot about Gentry, but I do know that Henry Sibley does have some good fans from some of those football games I've had the honor of covering.
They've also got some athletes, too. I mean, look at this Warriors team.
Well, yeah, that is
I'm
true.
not sure this isn't the Golden State Warriors from a couple years ago.
Wow.
I mean, this is a high-powered, unstoppable offense.
Now, what's your email? Where can people contact you for a comment like that?
The email is burner123@gmail.com.
All right. Inbox is going to be flooded. I have used that exact same comparison no less than once a game for any Warriors game I covered, just to annoy my color commentator, my usual color.
Yeah.
Some commotion there, right in front of the crease. It's going to be scooped up and pulled back by Hahn.
Going straight back into this methodical attack.
And just great motion. I mean, look at the spacing that they had on that cut to the net. Didn't even go to it. Now working their way around the edge, and they're going top cheddar there for goal number 12. Just an absolute offensive explosion and onslaught here for the road team.
Ella Bird.
And give credit where credit is due. They didn't waste any time coming out here. Yeah, we'll settle into the offense, and we'll go slow or whatever. There was none of that. They came out firing. They came out scoring, and it's led to this lead that was at once 2 and 3, and now it's ballooned up to 12. Still with 12:45 to go here in this first half.
Well, and a shout out to Shannon Claren, who's tuning into this one.
Hey,
Saying, go Ariana, get it, girls.
appreciate it, Shannon. More than happy to bring lacrosse content to anyone who wants to watch.
And the sun has very nearly set here, so in a few minutes, the sunlight will not be an issue for the Raiders. Long pass behind the net. Hahn looking to pass high, thought about going low, now sends it back high. Berg to the point here for Anderson. Frantic movement there from the Raiders. Some space given. A pass deflected. It's kicked out. Now a scrum working its way out from the 20. Possession's going to be given here to the Raiders.
And a nice defensive play there from the Raiders, kind of putting the pressure on the Warriors, and they finally made a mistake. You got to see some more of that if they want to start to turn this game around.
And Veith got the ball smacked out of the head of her stick. A turnover here for the Raiders. Time of possession really getting dominated here by the Warriors. Another long pass behind the net. Carl coming out and makes the save.
Someone's got to come back to help her.
And we're basically just going to get a Gilman clear there. Just flinging it up, hoping somebody grabs it. Immediately turned over here to Henry Sibley. Gentry. Once again, posting up down low. Quick pass. Bang, bang play. And the goal there for the Warriors. That didn't take long there, setting that one up. Another one for Jalen Rosga.
Just a little bit of a touch pass there. Just like you said, give and go. Hard to defend that, especially when the pass is coming from behind the net. Head's got to be on a swivel, and it's going to be tough to stop a shot like that.
You know, that's a very important point that they'll tell you in any sport. We see it in basketball, football. You always got to keep your head on a swivel.
Right.
You always have to have positional awareness and know where people are A lot of the times they'll tell you that for injury's sake, so you don't get lit up. I certainly
Right.
was told that many times in my lacrosse career, but I got to keep the head on the swivel there defensively. And we'll have another Rozga face-off win, which really makes me wonder what techniques she was taught to win face-offs, because she has won every single one.
Yep.
I mean, it is uncanny how good she is at winning face-offs. And once again, we're back to the same offense here for the Warriors. Tried and tested, very successful here tonight. Not forcing a thing.
They just settle into this little kind of circular offense. They pass until they get an open look.
And it really makes me wonder what would happen if some of these Hastings players just charged and didn't stop, not just sat there and waited, if they charged and really pushed it on them. And we'll get a missed shot there just to the right. Might have deflected off of Carl. But, I mean, what's the worst thing that would happen if this defender just blitzed that player? You allow a goal.
Right.
You've already allowed 13. I don't know if this current method is the way to win.
I mean, it's essentially the Aaron Rodgers argument, or the Pat Mahomes argument, is if you sit back, they're going to pick you apart anyways, so you might as well put pressure on and try and force an error. If you get beat, you get beat, but you're already getting beat anyways by not putting pressure on.
A shot and save number 2 there for Carl. Tried to go high. Got beat a couple of times earlier in the game. Going high and makes the adjustment for the save. Nearly turns it over there on the clear for Sophia Watts. Now we'll see what the Raiders can do here. Crossing midfield. And they'll lose the ball. Fought for and scooped up there by the Warriors. Again, that's the importance of fundamentals. You always have to be curling that stick. It's one thing to lose the ball on a pass and things like that, as that will turn into another goal here for the Warriors off of the offensive mistake by the Raiders.
And Anderson, only a sophomore, but playing like a veteran senior. I mean, she's only one player obviously out on the field, but she's controlling the entire pace of the game so far.
Well, and it's got to be tough, too, for some of these attack for the Raiders. I mean, you're getting so few opportunities, it's really hard to get anything going.
Right. Even if they scored on every opportunity they had, they might have 4 goals, 3 goals. So there's just not much you can do in a situation like this.
The Warriors are just so good at winning the face-off, automatically getting possession, and if they lose possession, they're very good at using their sticks to knock the ball away before they even get to the 30.
Been a complete performance so far for this Warriors team. No question about it.
So I almost wonder if for the Raiders offensively, you've tried to use one player and just ISO it up the field. They've turned it over maybe 3 times of their 4 possessions doing that. The passing, we haven't seen a whole lot of it. It hasn't necessarily been as good as the Warriors tonight. I almost wonder if you don't just get the ball maybe to the 45-50 and just clear it the rest of the way and just try to fight for possession. Basically like a dump and chase in hockey, where you just try to get the puck down low and then set up the forecheck in the offensive zone. Because there's not a whole lot of success the other ways.
At this point, you're down 14-0 so far. Yeah, you still got a little south of 6 minutes to go here in the first half, but other strategies should be starting to be implemented here. It's clearly what's been done so far hasn't worked.
And, I mean, the Raiders are a team of comeback players. I mean, this is the comeback town, Hastings, Minnesota. I mean, we saw firsthand
Redemption City.
Yeah, Redemption City, USA. We saw the Raiders football team almost come back and upset the number 1 team in the state of Minnesota.
Great game.
I might have jinxed them by prematurely saying it was on upset alert.
Yeah, you put it on upset alert, and I think they scored 17 points in about 90 game seconds.
But that was an absolutely legendary game.
Zablawi.
We had the Zablawi call.
I-
We had everything. We had
mean-
the overly excited fan.
I mean, that's right up there with Mike Breen's bang, and we'll see tomorrow night from the Buck family.
You know where that call is in history?
Or-
It's right up there. Some might say it's even better as we'll get another save there by
save.
Carl.
Great
It's
save.
right up there with the 1980 Miracle on Ice call.
Do you believe in miracles?
It's right up there. Some people, I would not say it's better. I'd say it's close, but
There-
not better.
Real talk. There will never be a greater call than that. Just the surrounding circumstances, what was happening at the time. It's impossible to have a better call than that.
Oh, the Zablawi?
Well, yeah, this is wild.
I mean, the atmosphere was electric. The circumstances were, dire.
Stakes were high.
And then I guess some hockey people won some hockey
Yeah,
stuff.
that Zablawi call, going back to the football game, that was essentially a Cold War.
Some people might say that.
Something like
I was pretty cold that night.
Right.
And a lot of people.
Cold
a lot of-
Battle. It's a great value version.
Yeah, wow. But, a lot of people forget that game was not in the finals. That was a
Right.
semifinal matchup. They had to
they
go
had
on to
play
beat
another- right.
I think Czechoslovakia at the time. So really, how good of a call was it?
Pretty average.
I mean, if you have a great call in the preseason, yeah, okay.
Now we're on the attack here.
Once again, the Raiders got hit from behind and lost the ball, but they'll recover it this time. Now some space given.
Got to capitalize here.
At the 15, sends it up, connecting down low for Ilif.
So we've got I believe we have a stoppage.
Referees barking out some orders here. And the play is going to continue. Raiders with possession. Tried to do the cut like the Warriors. Missed on the pass, but a recovery here by a midfielder working her way back. Double teamed.
Good save.
Axelrod, pass, tipped. It's going to be scooped up there by Berg. Turned over. And the passing, not exactly on point, but they do have the ball. And then there's some contact there from Berg. Play going on. Axelrod fires that one a little off the mark, bouncing off of the crossbar there. Scooped up and recovered by Barbarek. Now a long pass for Razga. Puts on the Jets.
The face-off expert. Going coast to coast.
Doing everything here. Little extra cardio. And now once again we're back in this offensive formation here for the Warriors. Really, the Raiders defense just feigning pressure. Really giving the Warriors their space.
Anderson asking for a pass. Didn't get it.
Down low, just outside of the crease.
Now again.
Centering pass, and
It's a goal.
we'll get the late goal call there. Been a little bit since they scored one. 2 minutes to go here before halftime, running time. 15-0 lead for the Warriors over the Raiders.
So we are going to be in.
Warriors.
We are in running time, so you have to wonder what.
Anderson.
I guess I wasn't really, and this is my bad, but I wasn't really paying attention as to when running time started at. I would assume it probably started at 10 goals, would be my guess.
Yeah, 10 goals is up there. Little brief discussion there between Alexis Carl and a couple of coaches as she'll head back to the net. We'll get the face-off underway here. 80 seconds to go now. And we're going to redo the face-off. And Razga is a perfect 16 for 16 on face-off victories. Now at the center field logo, a long pass. Defense not set up here for the Raiders, but the Warriors taking their time setting it up. 40 seconds to go before halftime.
Smart play by Anderson to slow it down there and set up the offense instead of going heavy isolation.
Just a methodical attack here
It's been selfless play as well. I mean, nobody's playing for their own stats. They've just been playing as one team now with 20 seconds to go here in this first half. If they want to get a shot off, they got to get going here.
Yeah, who was that one basketball player who missed his own shot to get the rebound? As we'll get another goal here from.
I know what you're talking about.
But there's none of those players on the team. That is going to be quite the call if they clip that at that moment.
I feel like Kevin Love did some of that while he was in Minnesota.
And with that horn, we have reached halftime here from McNamara Stadium. A commanding 16-0 lead for the Warriors over the Raiders. As we'll have a 7-minute halftime.
Yeah, an interesting first half, obviously dominated by the Warriors. That offense has been absolutely brilliant so far. And if you're the Raiders, you got to come out and, let's be real here. You're likely not winning this game. But you got to find a way to get your offense going, at least try to put some points on the board. And, obviously we're not big on moral victories, but find a way to get something going, get some momentum carried forward for your next game.
Absolutely. Could not put it any better. So with that, we'll send it to a break here. It's halftime on HCTV Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to HCTV Sports as we get set for the second half of this lacrosse game here between Henry, Sibley, Gentry Warriors and the Hastings Raiders. I'm Owen Healy here with my broadcast partner for the night, the WRFW legend, Reagan Hooverman. Reagan, how's it going, buddy?
It's great to be here. Exciting first half. Should have a pretty compelling second half here as well. I believe we will have running time unless something has changed. But we'll try to keep it interesting, and we'll get some lacrosse content going out to anyone watching.
And, I was on a team that did not do very well, so I'm very accustomed to situations like this. And something my coach would always tell me is that no matter what happens, whatever the opposing team did to you in the first half, if they scored 10, if they scored 16, well, then it's possible for you to do that to them in the second half. Whatever they did, if they scored 16, it is possible for you to score 16. I wouldn't say it's, the most likely scenario. I think they will play a better second half. Maybe there was just some first half jitters. We're underway. You have some minutes under your belt, but whatever they did in the first half, you could reciprocate in the second.
I mean, you're talking to someone from St. Croix Falls, right? We didn't exactly do a lot of winning in my hometown, so I've been here. I remember one time we lost a basketball game by 65 points. So I've been on that field. I know what it feels like to be in this position, but you got to battle through the second half and make it as competitive as you can. And you never know. Maybe you string some goals together and you get back into this game. It could happen.
So you're basically like the team that the Globetrotters would always play against.
Yeah, we're the Generals.
Just getting clowned on it every given chance.
Yeah, they won one game in 25 years or whatever the Generals' record is. Imagine being the one game where you show up to the Globetrotters and they lose.
Yeah, wow. It's
like, wow, thanks for my value.
You're a part of that team. Well, we're underway here in the second half. We have flipped the sides of the field. Unfortunately, the field is completely lit and the sun has gone down, so not really an advantage to be on either side, like it was a pretty big advantage for the Warriors to be facing to the east in the first half. Pass swiped away, and it's scooped up by Carl. They had a lot of players crashing in to the crease there. Clear is going to be turned over, immediately recovered there by a Warriors player. And we're back to this umbrella offense here. Rosgutaberg
picking up right where they left off in the first half. Slow, methodical attack on offense here.
And just kind of a half-hearted double team by the Raiders anytime they pass to the corner.
They're a forced turnover.
And they are just swarming that Raiders player, forcing a turnover off of the turnover. Now striding in, high shot. Saved there for Carl. And I think Carl was maybe 0 for 12 or maybe 0 for 13 to start the game. But over the last maybe 6 shots, I think she might have stopped 4 of them.
Yeah, done a decent job since. And also, I don't want to overreact here in the first, whatever it's been, 2 minutes or so, but seems like the Raiders defensively have kind of changed up the philosophy and are playing, at least like I said, in the first, minute and a half here, they're playing a bit more aggressive, kind of forcing some turnovers.
And lacrosse is not like hockey, where you can see goaltenders in hockey with a 91% save percentage. That's just not a reality in lacrosse. The net is bigger. It's a lot harder to stop shots. Obviously, that's a challenge that every goaltender faces, but it takes a special type of person to be a goaltender. You're just getting peppered with shots. You do have the knee and lower calf pads, but just getting decked in the knee, it's a very hard thing, and you have to fight your instincts not to just curl up, and actually go out there and sprawl and stop the ball.
Right, put a limb out there and try and get a deflection.
Ball's behind the net now here at the extended goal line.
Nice pass inside.
And that one's going to go off into the netting.
I wonder if they're showing this game over there at the beer stube.
Well, I would hope so.
Me too.
Back to action, crashing the net, and another low goal here for the Warriors, their first goal of the second half.
Scoring for the Warriors, number 19, Ella Bird.
And again, that's one of the challenges that a goaltender is going to face, especially, depending on your style of goaltending. If the head of your stick is up covering the top to try to swing that down all the way to the ground and stop some of those bounce shots, can be a tricky thing to react that fast.
Another face-off here.
Well, I think Hastings might have a different player on the face-offs here in the second half.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna call that a face-off win.
I agree. I think that's a victory.
It was going the right way.
So the streak ends.
Well, it was quite a streak, but they got that monkey off of their back.
Rajka's just so good.
Unbelievable. Again, I don't know what kind of techniques she was using there, but every single time.
And only a junior, too, so you got to think she'll get better next year.
Bit of a low shot there. I like the creativity to try to roll that one in on the ground. Sometimes, it can catch some of the divots and bounce up and make that tricky. And that's the number one thing. It was a reality that they were pretty down at halftime, trying to fight complacency or, happens right to anybody, any team in scenarios like that. When you've probably, like you said, you've probably lost the game at this point, but to continue to play with effort and an increased effort here in the second half is obviously a good sign for this team.
It's right. It's hard. You can get complacent, when you're up 17, and you can certainly get complacent when you're down 17. It goes both ways, and both teams, based on what we've seen so far, have done a good job to fight that.
Bit of an awkward bounce. The goaltender didn't know where that one was. It's going to be scooped up there by Berg, but that was taking all sorts of bounces off of Ava Davis. Not a very busy night for Davis.
Oh, coast to coast here.
Pass down to the 5, looking to swing that one in down low to the other side.
Couldn't corral it.
And that is a tough thing that only comes with time, fielding those hard rubber lacrosse balls cleanly. Something that Hastings has struggled with at times here tonight, but rarely have we seen the Warriors falter on connecting passes. They're looking at Rosga right in front of the net there. Decide to swing it out there to the far side. And a lot of the times that really is the difference. Not, cradling well and not losing the ball in transition. and, fielding passes cleanly, because anytime you don't field it cleanly, there's always even if it's a minute chance, I mean, the chances that you lose that possession increase by that much every single time you don't field it cleanly. And now we'll have the Raiders. They might have numbers here. Right up the middle, coast to coast. And loses the ball from behind. A double team, player getting tripped up. And a tripping call there.
I like that effort. Barbarack, the senior.
Now Berg cuts to the inside, cuts in between two players. Connects on the pass there for Anderson. Very dangerous scorer. Carl scoops up the ball just outside of that near side post. Now Carl just looking for an outlet pass here.
And they haven't done a great job with this tonight. Is trying to get open so that Carl can, make a pretty safe outlet pass.
And she'll just Gilman it down the field. Does connect with the player, and that's the thing. Because of the gigantic head of that stick, it is very hard to try to put that. When you're firing that down the field, it's just a ray. You have no idea where it goes. It's just going to go whatever direction you throw it. Right. There's no rhyme or reason. You can, you can try to curl it and try to get it into a pocket where you can fire it cleanly, but it's just going in that general direction when you do it. As opposed to some very skilled, defenders who use the long stick, which I don't think is allowed in girls lacrosse, or at least I haven't seen it here tonight. But, because the pole being, whatever it is, 9 feet, you really can rifle that one down the field with precision. Back on the attack. And potentially an offsides there on Sibley.
It's a great pass, too. Oh, here we go.
Carl ready for the whistle. Watts crashing in and goes top left. For I believe her first goal of the game.
Spreading the wealth around.
Scoring for the Warriors.
And like you said earlier, there are definitely players who are getting it done for the Warriors, but it's not just 14 goals for a player.
I was, when going back to when it was 4-5-0 in the first couple minutes, you thought, all right, there's probably a couple kids on this team that are really great and they're going to carry the load, but give credit to the Warriors. They've really spread the wealth around, and a lot of players have the ability to score and get up and down, and especially convert on the fast breaks that we've seen so far after the defense has been able to force turnovers. So it's just been a complete performance so far tonight from the Warriors.
And even though that there's a lot of players on the field, it really is, comparable to basketball, where one player really can pull the load and get it done for a team. I remember, I don't know, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's a funny story, but I remember playing on JV when we would go to road games. We did not win a lot of games. When we would go to road games, we would dress a varsity player for the first half of our game and just score 7 or 8 goals, just ISO, and then he
prop your team up a little bit, and
then he would leave and rest for the varsity game, and then we'd just end up winning that game because we had
that's a great story. That's funny.
I don't know if that's within the rule set, but it's been many years at this point as we get another goal here from Rozga.
I know with basketball players are allowed to share time, but it is limited. So basically it would be if you play one half of JV, you get one half of varsity.
I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah. But if someone's out there, dumping in 8 goals, probably shouldn't be getting JV time. Just like call it coaching, call it, whatever you want to call it, but
yeah, if it's in the rules, it's in the rules. And we're south of 14 minutes to go here. I think the big thing now for Hastings is I'd like to see them get a goal. I think that would really I think that'd be beneficial for this team. You're not gonna go on a 20-0 run, but if they can get a goal and all this hard work, materializes in the first goal of the season, I think that would be big for this team moving forward. It just kind of get, you hate to say moral victory, but sometimes those are a real thing. But to get an actual victory in a goal, albeit a small part of the game, I think would really help this team in their next game.
I think, moral victories can apply with teams that are struggling. I don't think there's any problem with applying a moral victory to Hastings tonight. But if you're a team that's expected to win the conference or the division or whatever, there's no moral victories there. It's wins and losses. But when you're in a situation like this, there are things that you can take away that'll be positive, especially, like you said, trying to get your first goal of the season.
Yeah, I think that's true. There's moral victories that help your team get better, and then you don't want to have the moral victories that like the Wolves have for 30 years,
right?
Where every small thing is a moral victory that leads to nothing.
Yep.
Although now, with A-Rod and all that, that's, going to be interesting as we get another one slipping past Carl. Yet another one there for Ava Anderson.
What's the over-under on time remaining in the Twin Cities for the Wolves? Is it a year and a half, 2.5 years?
They'll stay in the Twin Cities.
Oh, you think so?
100%.
Wow. You think A-Rod wants to stay?
Write that down. I guarantee it. Because the Timberwolves, I believe, are valued as the 29th overall franchise, but it's the 16th biggest market. So there's almost half of the league worth of growth that could happen in this market.
It is a good market. I mean, the problem is just it's just been mediocrity outside of the KG years for 25 years.
And honestly, I think Seattle is probably the either 15th or 17th market if it entered. It's really not that much of an upgrade over Minnesota. You just have to get the fans interested, which is why there's so much room for growth and why they're valued as one of the lowest franchises in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't see A-Rod wanting to set up shop in the Twin Cities.
What do you mean?
If you go look up Coastal Elite in the dictionary, there's a picture of A-Rod. I mean,
I never.
Like there's just, I don't know. I get a bad vibe.
Yeah, but where's he gonna put a team in Queens?
Seattle.
Have another New York
Seattle
team?
And Vegas.
Seattle does not like A-Rod at all.
You think Minnesota does?
More than Seattle.
Oh.
I mean, they drafted him and he left.
It's been a lot of heartbreak at the hands of Alex Rodriguez in Minnesota.
Wow, yeah. Then it's a perfect match. Ball briefly went out of bounds there and really just swarming that Raiders player on the near side.
10.5 to go in regulation.
Now really going the length of the field here. Little short pass, a one-hopper. It's scooped up.
A little bit of contact right there.
Pressure there from a Warriors player, and you'd really like to see that type of pressure from the Raiders.
Give credit to Barbarak, who's still playing hard. I mean, they're up 20 goals with less than 10 minutes to go, and she's still playing hard.
A scrum. And the Warriors had numbers. Now they have a lot of space here.
Good defense.
Rozga sends it over, scooped up. Almost cutting over to the inside. Back to Rozga and pulls it back to the outside. Looking to set up the offense. And we'll have another cut to the inside. A lot of those cuts have been feints here tonight. Although they have scored a handful of goals on some of those cuts.
Yeah, the sophomore Eva Anderson's been so fantastic on those cuts tonight, especially, with the assists from Rozga as well. It's been just a well-oiled unit.
And another goal there for Ella Berg. And I just kind of struggle to understand the logic of the defense for the Raiders. It looks to be a man-to-man with a double team on the ball, but when your players aren't pivoting their heads and having that positional awareness, knowing where other players are, when you're just facing the net and you're not craning your neck,
Right.
you have no idea where those players are behind you, and that's where they score on a lot of these cuts.
Yeah, it's been tough, and I agree with your point. I'll just put it out there like that. But I also think they're down 21 goals. I don't think there was a defensive philosophy that was going to win this game tonight. I just think the Warriors came out more prepared. They certainly played better tonight, and it's shown on the scoreboard. But there are things that you need to adjust. And I totally agree. Defense needs to be addressed sometime soon if they want to avoid having another game like this.
Absolutely. And I don't want to take anything away from the Warriors. It's
Right.
entirely possible that they're just a better team and they played better tonight and all that. And, we have the rest of the season to figure out where the chips lie. But it's just,
I agree with your point. Yeah.
if you're playing man-to-man, and maybe we'll see it here, but if you're playing man-to-man and you're not covering your man and you're not craning your neck, then it defeats the entire purpose of the man-to-man, because there's always going to be a gap or a cut where you could crash into the net. And given the spacing, there's nobody there to do anything about it. Whereas with a zone, you could get beat on the zone, but that's the advantage. You would never have somebody not in a quadrant.
That is the advantage of zone, is if you don't have strong on-ball defenders in any sport, if you don't have football, basketball, especially lacrosse, if you don't have good on-ball defenders, if one man gets beat, it's likely a goal. So, the zone provides more opportunity at playing successful defense if someone gets beat or is out of position or, their head isn't on a swivel.
And this is just my humble opinion, but this is why I think they have to have checking in girls lacrosse, whereas in boys lacrosse, if you're trying to ISO to the middle, there are repercussions for you trying to do that. You can't just run past players. And, at least with the zone, because we've seen, and, maybe that's not the defense they've ever ran. I don't have a great wealth of knowledge, for this team and its history. But, we've seen with this particular offense and defense configuration so many cuts to the inside and point-blank goals, where at least with the zone, if they're going to score, they're going to score from the outside. And if they can hit it from the outside, then bless them. But they're not just going to run into the inside and have nothing happen. You can put as many bodies as you want and just collapse the umbrella.
I had a coach when I played basketball in high school that, we're going to adjust as much as we can. And like you said in this example, it would be going to a zone defense. And if you beat us, he'd always say, you tip your cap and you say you played better. But you can't be complacent.
And a brilliant backhanded goal there. Caught Carl off guard. That is quite the goal there for the Warriors.
My bad, I didn't see it. But yeah, I was just saying, you can't be complacent in your defensive strategy. I don't care if you're down 2 goals or you're up 3 goals, you're down 22 goals. You got to make adjustments when adjustments need to be made, in my opinion.
Sometimes there are defenses that are tailored to teams, but playing the 2-3 zone in basketball, okay, if you're that good at shooting threes, then you deserve to win, but we're not going to allow anything on the inside. Hey, if you truly go out there and earn it and beat us, and it's a little different with college basketball and stuff like that, because a lot of players want to be Steph Curry and just drain.
They're pulling
players
up
are
the
getting
logo. Yeah,
players are getting really good at shooting threes, but it's just hey, if you can do that, that's fine. But anything in here, it's not happening. If you can snipe, because it's so hard. A player could shoot from 2 yards away or 8 yards away when they're cutting, and you have no idea. They're just getting as close as possible. The net is really big. The girl players are a little smaller than the boys, so it's a big net. As we got another goal there for the Warriors, and it's just if you can snipe the corners, then all right. I mean you deserve to win.
There's only so much you can account for, and like you said, if you're accurate enough and you're good enough to snipe the corners, then okay, then you're the better team. But you got to make that happen. I think you made a good point with the 2-3 zone in basketball. You're not going to beat us in the paint if you've got a dominant center. We're going to go to 2-3. You're going to have to shoot, top of the key, wing, and corner threes. And if you do that and you shoot 45% and beat us, then we tip our cap and you're better. But you got to adjust.
But if you shoot 27, we're winning.
Exactly, 100%.
And less than 4 minutes to go here. A little bit of a blowout, if you will. But that's reality. You lost this game. So what I hope we see with the Raiders is that this really sticks in their craw. I really hope that, when they go back to practice, it lights a fire, which is entirely possible. Maybe the Warriors are a really good team, or maybe they played out of their mind, but it's a long season. So, you got about 15 more games or however many they're going to play, with cancellations and stuff like that, as we'll get yet another goal here from Berg. You really hope that, not that it's personal, you know what I mean, but you really hope that they take it to heart.
Right.
And they think about this the next time they practice and they come out and they have a really good showing the next couple of games. And, sometimes you just need to be woken up.
Yeah, and I think if, I don't claim to be a lacrosse expert, but I feel like if you're the coach of this team, you go into the locker room, you're likely going to lose 24-0. I think you got to use that as motivation. Obviously, you're not trying to embarrass your kids because it's high school sports, and we're trying to have fun. Obviously, you're trying to win games too, but you got to try and light a fire. Hey, we had people watch that, and we don't want them to have to watch that again. So let's get going, let's work harder, and let's find a way to fix this. And I have no doubt in my mind that they'll find a way to do that.
And the thing is, too, I think you take a loving approach after the game.
Right. You don't tear them apart.
No, of course. Probably under any scenario, you don't tear anybody up for anything. But
right.
The effort was there. They it's a little weird to say they played well tonight, but the effort was there. They played hard. So I think it's just it's a learning experience. It's just one of those learning things. Nobody gave up on the game. So there's no reason to be any type of way about it. I think it's just one of those things where hey, we go to practice and then we work up on cleaning up our defense a little bit. We work on, passing drills and things like that. And then we come out and in a couple of days, we see, how much we can improve.
Yeah, and it is what it is at this point. There's a minute and a half left in regulation. You're down 24 goals. But, even if you don't get a goal here before regulation time expires, there's things you can take away from this game. I think effort's a big thing. If your team's still fighting and you're down 24 goals, obviously you don't want to be in that situation, but it's a good sign that your team hasn't folded.
And if you don't have effort, you don't have anything. So if you
Completely
have effort,
agree.
if you have effort, you have something to work with. You have something to build on. And this is the thing. Every team gets better as the year goes on. Now, some teams get a lot better and the curve is a lot higher, and some teams, maybe they just get a little better. But every team gets better. Everybody gets more in the swing of things. Everybody, their conditioning gets better. Their timing gets better. So, every team does get better as the season goes on. So, you only can go up from here. You're getting valuable minutes. You're getting valuable game time. And, again, it's a senior-laden team. So, presumably, a lot of these players have been playing for a long time. So, maybe the adjustment to games 2 and games 3 and games 4 wouldn't be as steep, if you were a team of 8th graders or 9th graders where you just don't have those varsity level reps.
10 seconds to go here in running time for regulation, so it looks like we're going to have a final score of 24-0 in favor of the Warriors.
And with that, we have reached the final horn. It was a dominant 24-0 victory for the Warriors over the Raiders here from McNamara Stadium.
Yeah, and real quick before we just hop off the air here, I think you got to give you have to give credit to Rozga, who was just so dominant on the face-offs. I believe she started 16 of 16 before one was even fought for, and it was a great performance. And then also Anderson was obviously great as well, scoring goals and assisting as well, but it was a complete team performance, and I think there's a lot of positives for the Warriors to take away here. Obviously, winning 24-0 is great, but for the Raiders, there's also some good things to take away, like we were talking about just a couple minutes ago. Effort is the big thing for me. This team fought hard. They're down more than a handful of goals, and they fought until the final whistle, and I think that's something important to take away.
And I know this is going to sound a little weird to say, but I really, truly do mean it. The player of the game for me is Alexis Carl, the freshman goaltender for the Raiders, because it's not a great start. 16 goals allowed in the first half. Okay, you don't get dejected. You don't have the varsity level experience of a senior. You keep playing, and we see in the second half you only allow 8. The save percentage,
half, right?
The save percentage did go up. She was making plays. She didn't just get dejected and beat down to the dumps. And that's a tough position to be in. Sometimes you can feel like the weight of the world is on you. Everybody's watching. but to just battle through that and improve in the second half, it's weird to say, but that's the player of the game for me, because that's really what sports is all about. And she's a young player. She's only going to get better, and that sometimes you just need situations like that to grow as a player.
I agree. One quick thing on her: she did a great job. She finished the deal, and she got better as the game went on. So I'd like to see what she does the rest of the season.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up here on HCTV Sports. It was a dominant victory for Henry Sibley Gentry Warriors over the Hastings Raiders, 24-0. And with that, a special thanks to Owen Ely, Reagan Hooverman, Ian Andrasick, Max Slocum, and Hunter Pinkey. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been HCTV Sports.
See ya.